Hello and welcome to the first episode of Teens on the Road, the one and only podcast for full-time RVing teenagers. My name is Kayla, and here with us today is fellow nomad Elizabeth. So,
Hello.
Elizabeth, where are you today?
I am currently north of Conway in Arkansas. We are close to family right now. We have somewhat of a permanent spot here. You know,
Cool.
gas prices are so high right now. It's kind of benefiting us. So,
Oh my gosh, I know. Diesel's like $5 here.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you like to do? How long have you been traveling?
So, we have been traveling for going on 5 years now.
Wow.
We got on the road in the summer of 2017, and we've been traveling around ever since. Mostly going to see family. We've been up the East Coast a couple of times, and last summer we went out west and ended up working jobs in Idaho, which was fantastic. The weather was perfect up there.
Yeah, Idaho's really nice.
And then we came back for the wintertime, and we were planning on leaving again soon to travel the west. And then gas prices decided to skyrocket, so we might be here for most of the summer.
Well, you know, that's life, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you, Elizabeth?
I am 16, going on 17 next month.
How many siblings do you have? Do you have any pets?
I have 2 siblings. My older half-brother is in his 20s. He's in his 20s. He's married. I have 2 nephews. One just came around a couple months ago. And then my younger brother is 14. Geez, he's going on 15 this year. Grown up.
Right.
And we have 3 dogs.
Wow. And how big is your RV?
It's pretty big. We have a bunkhouse in ours, so we do share a room, but it's kind of on opposite sides of the camper. We have a 5th wheel, so we each have a decent amount of space for ourselves.
That's good. That's good. I know there are some people who have like 7 kids in a tiny RV.
Yeah, definitely.
That's crazy to me.
I don't know how I could do that.
Yes, 1 sibling's enough. Okay, so what are some of your favorite places that you've been to?
Oh my goodness. There's many, but
if you had to pick like 5.
Okay, so 5. Okay. So a couple of summers ago, we went up way north in the East Coast, and one of the best places that stood out to me was Vermont. We went to the Lincoln family home. Abraham Lincoln never lived there, but his kids did. And the view from the valley up there, it was on top of this hill, and the hill was situated in between these 2 valleys that rose up into mountains on either side. So it was like you were in this crevice of the mountain.
That sounds beautiful.
I don't know how to explain it, but it was so green. It was beautiful. I was so tempted to just lay on the grass and take a nap. It was amazing.
No kidding. My mom's always wanted to go to Vermont in the fall.
Oh,
were you guys there for that?
We were there in summertime. It was before the leaves turned, so it was quite literally forest green all around.
It was still beautiful.
It was so beautiful.
Do you have a favorite national park?
Yellowstone, for sure.
I know you guys were there for a while.
Yeah, we were right around the corner from it, basically.
Yep.
I really loved it up there. Up in the mountains, we were in East Idaho, up in a little mountain town called Island Park, where I worked a job. And
yes, the soda shop. It was so cute.
It was so cute. It was so fun working up there. And if you're ever up there, the Sodako Island Park.
Yeah, I mean, you were up there long enough to where you could have actually gotten a job.
Yeah, I was working there from May to August, so
As well.
quite a few months. But it was beautiful up there. Sometimes we
Yes.
would go for drives because we were up in the mountains. We had to go somewhere for groceries that wasn't the little
Right.
dollar store up there. And sometimes we were coming back and the sunsets up there. I can't even tell you how gorgeous those sunsets were.
Yeah,
So beautiful.
seriously. So do you have a favorite adventure you've gone on? Like I don't know, four-wheeling, rock climbing, something crazy you've done?
We, on our way west, we went up to, you know, trying to remember the name of it. We've been to so many places I can barely remember the names.
Right. 5 years. A lot of traveling.
On our way west, we went through South Dakota. So we went to Mount Rushmore and Devil's Tower. That's the name of it. So we went to Devil's Tower. We were in a campground, I don't know, an hour away from there. So we went to walk around Devil's Tower. Sadly, we didn't get to walk around the entire thing, but because of the weather, crazy weather. But while we were there, the views were so beautiful. So beautiful.
South Dakota, huh?
Just that one little part of South Dakota was so pretty. The rest was kind of barren, but no hate. But while we were there were a couple of climbers on the side of Devil's Tower looking like they were getting to the top. And there was only one spot where you could see them there were like this little spot with binoculars there. You could look up at them at Devil's Tower. And there were a couple climbers up there, and it was insane how high they were. And they were moving pretty fast.
I know. We had some friends in Yellowstone who like to go rock climbing, and they took their 7-year-old and their 9-year-old rock climbing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That thought just scares me, and I'm 15. I can't imagine those little girls.
Yeah, I've done a little rock climbing things that you find in like the Wonderworks.
Right.
I've done that a couple times. My family, we aren't really daredevils in that way, so we found it crazy. Me and my dad will definitely go on some crazy roller coasters, though, we'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, those are, I guess, quote unquote, safe compared to rock climbing, I guess.
True. Yeah, my thing, not afraid of heights, but I do like a seatbelt.
Yeah, not afraid of heights, afraid of falling.
Exactly. Though we were in Niagara Falls, I think this was in 2018. We went to Niagara Falls, and there's this bridge going from, over the border to Canada.
Right.
We went over the border for the fireworks, and the view from Canada, I can say, was a lot better than the American side. It's worth it to go over there for just the day.
Did you have to go through customs?
We did have to go through, we had to have our passports, but it was not a big deal. It was a bigger deal going back into America.
Right.
It took a little bit longer, but it wasn't too big of a deal.
Right.
Wasn't too stressful or anything. But I'll tell you, on that bridge, I was like, it's kind of a far way down there. And then, you know what I did?
Leaned your head over?
14-year-old me, 13. I think I was 13. I stuck my foot through the bars, and I was like, look, my leg's out over the waterfall. Wow, I'm a daredevil. How crazy is that?
That's pretty funny.
I managed to scare my little brother a little bit. It was
Oh,
fun.
yeah? He would have been like 12, right?
I think he was 11. 10 or 11, something like that. I don't remember.
Something like that. So, what are your thoughts on RV life in general? Do you like it? Do you love it?
Well, it definitely took some warming up.
Right.
My dad's retired active duty military. He was a Marine. So we moved around a lot already. So it wasn't like I was leaving this big home that I grew up in and we had all these friends and all these deep roots.
Yes, I was going to say that.
We didn't have to uproot that much. It was basically going from, house to house, moving around to a camper.
Right, which is your house that is moving around.
Yeah.
So
and
that doesn't seem that different.
No, it wasn't too much of a difference, but I certainly had a lot less personal space.
Right.
Which
is one of the RV things, is that you don't get a lot of personal space.
I do miss my bedroom.
Yes.
But it is all right. I have a little bunk to myself, and the ceilings are high enough that I can sit up, so I'm just grateful for that.
Yeah. What are ways that you, when you are feeling like you don't have a lot of personal space, how do you combat that yourself?
A lot of times I will go outside for a walk and find some place to sit and just kind of sit in silence, my own little personal space.
Right.
Just make that bubble for myself. Because sometimes family can get annoying, but the benefit of traveling is that there's all these different places you can go. There's always a new spot to go find something, go adventure to. Here in Arkansas, I'm right across the lawn from my cousin, so sometimes I'll walk over there and be like, hey, do you want to go take a walk around your backyard? And she's like, all right, sure. Sometimes we just need to get out of the house, and sometimes a walk is all you need. But yeah, since we've been traveling kind of all our lives, it wasn't too much of a difference, but in the transition, we weren't traveling as much right away. And I only had a couple of friends at the time, so I was not doing good. We were it was feeling really isolated, and I will tell you, I kind of escaped through reading.
Yes. The portal to another world.
Sure. Call it that, because there's so many.
Right.
There was Percy Jackson, there was Harry Potter, there was Hunger Games, Divergent. Yes, I love those. And that was kind of my little escape, since we've been homeschooled, me and my brother, since I was in 3rd grade and he was in 1st grade.
So the road school transition wasn't too big for you either.
Yeah, we were kind of going in between homeschool and unschool. So when we got on the road, it wasn't much of a transition from public school to being at home all the time.
Right.
Though we were a lot closer, which was fun.
Yeah.
Though I am doing more online classes in high school now instead of just unschooling. But it's not too bad. It's super flexible. So I don't have to worry too much about showing up to class.
Oh, yeah. When can I eat? I'm hungry. Yeah, that's when you're homeschooled, like, in a house, then you have a little more stringency than when you're in an RV, because you may go to co-ops or homeschool groups or whatever. But when you're in an RV, like, and you have activities every other day, then you have to be a lot more flexible.
Exactly. But
which is good, and it's bad.
Yeah, because you do have to motivate myself to do school sometimes.
Ugh, yes. The worst.
Goodness gracious. And there's not too much of a consequence when you sleep in, which can be a good or bad thing.
Right. You know
But
you don't need to sleep, but you want it so bad.
I know, right? But one good thing about it is that I can do school in my pajamas.
Yes.
If I don't feel like getting dressed that day, I can be like, you know what? It's all right. I can do algebra in pajamas. It's fine.
Yes.
No big deal. But as far as my point of view on traveling life, you know, it did take a lot of warming up to, but once I came to realize how cool it is having the flexibility, going to different places, and embracing the inconsistency of RV life. It took a lot for me to get used to how inconsistent things are. You could
Yes.
be in one place for a month, and then for the next 2 months, you could be bouncing around a week here, 2 days here, 2 weeks here. It's crazy.
I like the embracing the inconsistency. That'd be a good bumper sticker or something.
Yes, I should write a book.
Yes.
Embracing the inconsistency of traveling life. It did take a lot to embrace that, but once I did, like, the gratefulness went through the roof. I'm grateful for having a bed to sleep in.
Ugh, yes. It's hard to be grateful sometimes.
It sure is, but I'm grateful to have a consistent mattress. My bed is the only consistent thing in my life, and that is okay. That is completely alright.
I have my bunk, and that's all I need for now.
Because a lot of it's crazy how many kids in our generation and in generations before us even wanted to travel. They had the urge to travel. They wanted to go everywhere, see all these different things. And our parents decided, hey, we can give our kids this. So here we are, traveling around the country, the continent, the world.
Some people
however
do the
it goes.
world. Yeah.
Maybe one day. It takes a lot to be grateful for what we have, but once we realize how to be grateful for it, it's crazy. Through the roof. It's like a lot of kids don't have this, and so I should embrace it while I do have this, and maybe I can pass it down to my kids. I can share these experiences with my family, with my friends. It's crazy. I love it now.
Good. It's interesting how RV life will change you once you've been on it. The inconsistency, once you embrace the inconsistency for such a long time.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you're like missing the typical high school life? You're missing out on anything?
I have felt that way before.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, right before COVID happened, we had this kind of party set up for a whole prom situation. I had picked out a prom dress, I had a date, and then it didn't happen. I was kind of upset about it, but I had to learn to be okay with it. I still haven't worn the prom dress. I hope to wear it sometime because that is a fun prom dress. I'm going to wear it sometime.
Yes.
And with traveling, we don't really get those teenage experiences, which can be feeling like you're missing out, but also a good thing. Because there's a lot of crappy stuff that happens in public school that we thankfully miss out on.
Yeah. One of the things I've noticed is that while RVers may feel like they don't get enough social time, public schoolers don't get too much social time.
Like, kids that do go to public school or have gone to public school, they don't have a lot of flexibility, not a lot of time for themselves. And the amount of stress on schoolwork is crazy, schoolwork is important, yes, of course. Education is crazy important. But the amount of stress that public schoolers have to go through for all the testing, all the assignments, all the teachers nagging on them for assignments. Like, and having to get up so early and face people and have to socialize, or, you know, all the influencing of all the people you're around. I'm just grateful that we have this good influence of traveling and learning about the world and getting closer to family while we're still around. Because
Right.
once we move out, we go do whatever we want with our lives.
That's
so
true.
Having this family time when we're not away at school all the time, our parents aren't working all the time, we have this family time that a lot of people don't get.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, I mean, the family unit is one of the most fulfilling and important units you'll ever have in your life.
Agreed.
And the way that you have your family unit when you grow up will influence how you have your own family kids when you have, your own kids.
Yes, definitely. It's super important to have those connections with your siblings and your parents especially, because the way you view life now can impact how you go through your life in the future. So it's really important that we, open our eyes and see the world while we still see it.
Yes. And I mean, it's especially important when we're in our adolescence because we still have growing minds, as my parents love to tell me.
Adolescence is a very important stage of growth.
Yes.
As we're transitioning from little kids to responsible adults, trying to figure out what we want for our lives, what we want to do, who we want to be, where we want to go.
Also what our core values are. Because, RV life totally shifts all of that.
It definitely does.
Because instead of focusing on, okay, am I getting enough followers? Do enough people like me? Am I getting the grades right? It's like more family time, like you mentioned, and also seeing different peoples and cultures and places and beautiful parts of America and parts of the world if you are a world traveler. And it expands your horizons.
It also, takes off the importance of materialism. All these material things.
Yes, you have to get rid of so much stuff.
The amount of stuff that we got rid of when we moved out of the house, oh my goodness. It was insane. We're still going through things, going through clothes, getting rid of this, getting rid of that.
It's a constant purge.
Yes, it is. Exchanging of things, because in campers you can't have that much weight of stuff. The weight of stuff in the camper, you have to get rid of it. And getting rid of it can also help you mentally too. There are some things that would be better in the junkyard or in the Goodwill for someone else that needs it than for you. Because
to be honest, you don't need that many clothes.
Hard to swallow, but agreed.
Yes.
I'm baffled at people that have sweatshirt collections of, you have more than like 6 jackets? Like, there's one for the cold, one for the hot, there's a cardigan, there's a bathing suit cover, there's a warm sweatshirt, there's a cool sweatshirt, and there's like all these other different ones that they have, and I'm like, how? You don't even wear all of them. When was the last time you wore that?
I know. I have to ask myself that question a lot.
Which is kind of crazy because we're in all these different weather patterns sometimes that we have to kind of think, well, I need this, well, I need that, but also realizing I don't wear that. I don't need that. I don't.
Yeah.
Even in that weather, I wear this one anyways because it's my favorite.
You think
so
you
why
need
do I
it,
need
but
this
then
one?
you think you need it, and then really you don't need it.
Yeah, and I think that can be applied to our life too, because we think we need people always around us. We think we need all this consistency, and we need when it's really we want. And
Yes.
I don't know. It takes a lot to realize that you don't need that much to enjoy your life right now. And I think it's especially important to learn that while we're young so that we can go into life not valuing material things over relationships and experiences and memories.
An excellent. All right, so I guess you have gained a lot of insight over RV life. That was going to be my next question.
I mean, it has taken a lot of experience of viewing this lifestyle in the negative way and then turning around and being like, what if I look at it this way? What
Shifting
value can I
perspective.
see? What value can I see in my circumstances right now that will benefit me in the future? That will help me grow as a person, help me grow my relationships with my family, and grow your experience for real life after we move out. And all these experiences that we're going to pass on to our kids too. Like, when I was your age, I went to Devil's Tower and I saw these rock climbers. We could go rock climbing sometime.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we could become professional travel agents.
Now that would be fun, especially if you like numbers and planning things and being like, I'm going to help you plan this trip. And we can.
That sounds like me right there.
I am aiming to go to college to be a physical therapy assistant. And my mom was talking about all these options that I could do. And one thing that she mentioned was being a traveling physical therapist, because people in the medical field are basically needed all over the country, all over the world.
No kidding.
So I could travel around for a few months at a time and help different hospitals that need extra employees. So there's
That's
a
a really cool
possibility for that
idea.
too.
That's a really cool idea.
There are a lot of jobs that you can get in different areas that will, require you to travel or have a traveling benefit. So if you do like traveling right now and you love traveling, there are jobs you can get that, enable you to travel as an adult too, making money and supporting a family.
Right. That's a cool idea. I like that a lot. All right, well, this is the big question time. What has been your biggest RV fail?
Ooh, that's a good question. We've had a few little run-ins with different things, but we haven't had any like really big accidents or anything super crazy. I mean, we've been stuck in the mud a couple of times. We've scraped against trees a few times. But nothing super crazy.
Well, congratulations. How long is your RV? Because the longer, the more accidents you get.
Ours is, I think it's 38 or 39 feet. Our last camper was 40 something feet. I don't remember, but we had a bike rack on the back too. And there were some campgrounds that would literally not let us in because of how long our camper was.
Oh my goodness.
And it was also a little bit harder to maneuver. And now
it is.
we have a few feet shorter, so it's like, all right, a few more feet of wiggle room.
Yes, totally. All right, well, we're almost done here, I guess. Do you have any questions for me?
Do you have any little quote of wisdom that you would like to share as well?
Well, I guess to the people who feel like they're missing out on, high school life, it's, you're not missing out on much. The best parts, I think, are like hanging out with friends, going to prom, and maybe extracurricular activities, but it's not a lot, and it's not something that can't be fulfilled in RV life. Well, thank you for joining me today, Elizabeth.
Of course, I am very happy to be here. Glad to, I don't know, give some wisdom to the younger teenagers on the road.
Because we're so old and wise.
Yep, making me feel old.
Yep. And thank you to all you nomads out there for listening. If you want to be on the podcast, I have a link in the description down below. Thanks for listening, and we'll hope to see you next time.